In a time of great conflict, amidst the dark shadows of World War II, stood a formidable barrier, the Atlantic Wall. Concrete bunkers, huge guns, and a maze of deadly obstacles. This was Hitler's fortress to safeguard Nazi Germany. Today we travel back to explore this colossal defense system, remnants of which still scar the coast of Western Europe. Quiet now, these shores whisper tales of D-Day, June 6, 1944, a pivotal moment that reshaped the 20th century.
It's the most important day of the 20th century, and everything before that led up to D-Day. Everything since has been a consequence of what happened on D-Day.
Hitler's Atlantic Wall, stretching from Norway to Spain, was not just a physical barrier, but a symbol of the Nazi regime's might.
The Atlantic Wall was one of the great walls of history. There are many great walls: the Great Wall of China, the Roman Wall, which walled off the barbarians from the Roman Empire, and then the long, long wall that Hitler built from Norway, the entire Atlantic coast, to try to block Europe off from the Americans and the British.
Featuring massive concrete bunkers and formidable artillery, it was a challenge the Allies had to overcome.
The heaviest artillery was 40.6 centimeter gun. There were several of them, 7 in Norway and 3 in France. There were Navy guns shooting quite precise over a range of maximum 30-35 miles.
In Belgium, remnants of these fortifications still stand, echoing a past of war and resistance.
Here, south of Ostend in Belgium, lies a typical stretch of Atlantic Wall construction. What you see there is the fire control post of a coastal battery. What you see here is an emplacement with an anti-aircraft gun. And very special, because it's still there, a system of covered trenches. These are normal trenches, but covered, protecting the soldiers running forth in these corridors, and also protecting the site from the air.
This is a Belgian gun, 12-centimeter gun, used by the Belgian army in very small quantities. And it was captured by the Germans in May 1940. And there was just one problem with these guns. There was a very limited stock of ammunition for the Germans.
Camouflaged and hidden, these structures were a part of a larger strategy of deception and defense.
During the war, the challenge for the Germans was to block every possible attempt of invasion by the Allies. And for that purpose, they didn't only build thousands of bunkers, but they covered literally the beach with hundreds of thousands of beach obstacles.
Not only obstacles, but also thousands of kilometers barbed wire has been used on the Atlantic Wall, between the bunkers, on the fields, and do not forget the mines. About more than 6 million mines have been placed all over the coast.
As the war intensified, Germany's grip seemed unbreakable. Hitler's armies marched across Europe, leaving destruction in their wake.
Hitler's armies marched almost unchecked in the first years, starting with Poland, cleared his eastern frontier, then Scandinavia, Denmark, and Norway. From there on into the Low Countries and France. Most of Western Europe fell under his sway.
If you had penetrated La France, you would roll and roll and roll and roll, and it was almost impossible for your opponent to stop you.
Then he had the choice: attack the English supply system with everything that he had, or should he turn upon his other potential enemy, Russia? He chose Russia.
But the tide of war was about to turn. The Allies, gathering strength, were plotting the downfall of the Nazi regime.
The basic strategy was laid out within a month or so after Pearl Harbor. And that was Europe first, cross the Channel, go to the heart of Germany. That was our basic strategy from the very beginning.
In 1943, as the Allies prepared for invasion, The Atlantic Wall became a crucial line of defense for the Germans.
In 1943, when the Allies bombed Germany on a very large scale, a huge amount of Allied bombers came over every evening. And when they came back from Germany, they were not allowed to land in England with bombs on board. So they dropped their bombs, sometimes in sea and sometimes on the battery itself.
The Germans had been in World War I, and they knew how to dig ditches, and they knew how to put trenches in place, and they knew the kind of fire they needed to hold a position, and they put all of that to use.
The first goal was to fortify ports that could be used by the Allies to land troops, divisions, armies. So from the northern part of Holland to the southern part of France, the major ports and U-boat bases were fortified.
Under Hitler's orders, the wall transformed into an almost impenetrable fortress, a testament to Nazi Germany's engineering prowess and desperation.
Germans are very good in statistics. In the total of the Atlantic Wall, some 11,000, 12,000 bunkers were made, heavy bunkers, with a consumption of 10, 11, 12 million cubic meters of concrete.
However, Hitler's grand vision was met with challenges. Limited resources and the relentless Allied air campaign strained German efforts.
The major forces of the German army, the young guys, strong guys, were in action in the desert and on the Eastern Front. Now, to populate the Atlantic Wall, they used the older guys and very young guys, and also foreign volunteers like Russians, Italians, and all that kind of people.
The Atlantic Wall was a symbol of resistance for the Nazis, but it was also a target for the Allies, a barrier they were determined to break.
The Allies started with reconnaissances of the whole French and Belgian coast, aircraft reconnaissances, and they sent also out small submarines with divers. They came ashore to take little pieces of the sand to investigate in laboratories to see if the sand was strong enough to keep tanks and another equipment. And finally, they've chosen for Normandy because there are, in some part of it, very large sandy beaches.
As D-Day approached, tensions mounted. The world braced for one of the most significant military operations in history.
They needed a shallow draft vessel that they could turn around in a hurry. Every American who went ashore in North Africa, every American who went ashore in Italy, and every American who went ashore in the Pacific Theater did so in a boat built in New Orleans by Andrew Higgins and Higgins Industry. From a factory that had 80 people working in it to 30,000 employees, of whom about half were women. And he worked 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, to turn out those landing craft. And by God, he did it.
On June 6, 1944, the Allies launched their assault. It was a battle against the formidable Atlantic Wall, a battle for freedom.
Paratroopers and glider troops landed well behind the German lines, but the wall had answers for them too. There were poles set in the fields called Rommel's asparagus to smash up the gliders. Their fields were flooded wherever the Germans could do that in order to prevent the troops from landing there. And at great loss, they did succeed in landing behind the wall.
Today, as we remember the sacrifices and bravery of those who fought, the remnants of the Atlantic Wall stand as a stark reminder of the past. This has been a journey through history, a story of war, resilience, and the triumph of the human spirit.
We hope you've enjoyed exploring the fascinating stories and events that have shaped our world. If you found this video informative and entertaining, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friends and family. By subscribing to our channel, you'll never miss out on any of our future content, covering everything from ancient civilizations to modern-day events. We love hearing from our viewers, so please leave a comment below and let us know what topics you'd like us to cover next. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us continue to create engaging and educational content for you. So remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment, and together, let's keep exploring the captivating stories of our world.